Hi, I'm Miss Rios, and I will be walking you through the do now today. So number one, if x equals 3 and y equals 7, then simplify the expression 2x minus 4y. Explain your reasoning. So we're going to highlight the important information first, so we know that x equals 3 is going to be important. So is y equals 7. Then simplify the expression. We know the expression is going to be important. And what is an expression again? It is a expression doesn't have equal signs and an equation does. Sorry about that, brain fart. Okay, and make sure to explain your reasoning. So when we explain our reasoning, basically you can tell me the steps or what your thinking was or why you did what you did. So we're going to make the skeleton, which is what I call rewriting the problem without the variables that you know. What do I mean by know? We know that x is 3 and we know that y is 7. So I am going to plug those numbers in instead of rewriting the variables. So right here we have x, and instead of x, I'm going to plug in 3. And then on the other place, right next to our 4, we have our y, which is 7. Okay, so then now we're going to use our order of operations to help simplify this, which is PEMDAS, right? Parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division left to right, adding, subtracting left to right. So I know we have parentheses, but if you look inside our parentheses, there's nothing to simplify, right? We just have one digit, one number, so we're going to leave that alone. So we have 2 times 3 is 6 minus 4 times 7, which is 28. Well, what is 6 minus 28? That is a negative 22. So our answer here is negative 22. As for reasoning, you could have put anything from, we plugged in our values for x and y and used the order of operations to simplify. That is exactly what we did, and that's why we got our answer of negative 22. Now, for number 2, we have two parts, A and B. We have 3 over 5 minus 1 over 15. So remember, when you're adding or subtracting fractions, you have to have a least common denominator. Now look at your denominators. So you have 5 and 15. Look at the smaller one. Can you make the smaller one look like the bigger one? Yes, we can. How do we do that? By multiplying by the number 3. Okay, so we're going to do some side work over here. Okay, so 3 over 5, we want that to have a denominator of 15. How can we make that happen? Well, we're going to multiply by 3, right? So 5 times 3 is 15. So in order for them to stay equivalent, we have to do the same to the top. So 3 times 3 is 9. So our new 9 over 15 is the same as 3 over 5. The only thing we did is multiply the numerator and denominator by 3. Okay, so we're going to keep the minus 1 over 15. So 9 minus 1 is 8, and the denominator is 15. So our answer is 8 over 15 because 8 and 15 have no common factors. So I cannot simplify or reduce any further. So for B, we have 3 over 5 divided by 4 over 5. Okay, so when we see that we're dividing fractions, remember, we're going to keep, change, flip. So we're going to keep the 3 over 5. We're going to change the division to a multiplication. And we're going to flip 4 over 5 to 5 over 4. And now remember, when you're multiplying fractions, to me, like they're my favorite because they're the easiest. All you have to do is multiply across. So the numerators are 3 and 5, so 3 times 5 is 15. And then the denominators are 5 and 4, so 5 times 4 is 20. Now, unlike part A, 15 over 20 does reduce. What does it reduce to? Well, they both have a factor in common, which is 5. So 15 divided by 5 is 3, and then 20 divided by 5 is 4. 3 and 4 have no common factors, So our final answer is 3/4. For number 3, we have a nice beautiful puzzle to get our brain juices going. So we have 3 apples and they have to add up to 120. Well, that means that each apple, they're identical, right? So each apple has to have the same value, and when you add them together, it has to be a total value of 120. Well, 120, split that up into 3 equal groups would be 40, right? So 40 plus 40 is 80. 80 plus 40 would be 120. So each apple is worth 40. So I can go find all my apples and label them 40 because that's how much each apple is worth. So we go to the second one. We have an apple plus a pair of bananas plus another pair of bananas, which is 100. So we work backwards, right? We know we have an apple, so 100 minus an apple is 60. So we know that each group of bananas has to add up to a total of 60. Well, 60 divided by 2 different groups would be 30. So I know that a pair of bananas is worth 30. But when I go to my next line, I don't have a pair of bananas. I have a group of 3 bananas. So that means we need to find out how much 1 banana is worth. So if we go back to the second one, we have a pair of 2 bananas. Well, that's a little bit more simple, right? We have 2 bananas that are going to be a total of 30. So that means that 1 banana is 15. Right? And we just did that by dividing by 2. So when we have a group of 3 bananas, right? So we're just going to do, you can look at it in 2 ways. We can do 15 times 3 or 15 plus 15 plus 15, right? We know that multiplication is just simplifying addition. So we end up with 45. So we have bananas that are worth 45, an apple that is worth 40, and we have a little grape. Down here, we know that this 1 banana is worth 15. So we just have to figure out how much the grape is worth to get our final answer. So 45 plus 40 is 85. So we have 85 plus our grape is going to be 105. So again, we can just work backwards, right? Or we can use our inverse operations and we can subtract 85 from 105, which gives us a number of 20. So 20 plus 15 is 35. So that is our answer, 35. All right, so for number 4, we're going to find the slope, which if you remember from middle school, it is rise over run. Okay, so we're going to rise 1, 2, 3 units, and we're traveling up, which is towards the positive. So we know this is going to be a positive 3 for our run. I'm sorry, for our rise, and for our run, we're going to go 1, 2 units, and you notice that we travel to the right. Well, what numbers are to the right side? Positive numbers. So this is going to be a positive 2. 3 and 2 do not have any common factors, so we know that is in simplest form. Let's check with our graph. We have that this is a positive 3/2 graph. From left to right, is our linear function traveling up? Yes, it is. So we know that this is a positive slope. Okay, number 5, write the coordinates of the ordered pairs. So we have, let's start off with A. So to get to A, we're going to look at, remember, ordered pairs travel, are written as x comma y. So we always start at the origin, right? So to get to A, look at your X first. Am I going to travel left or right? You should notice that I don't need to travel X or right because I'm right below the point. So your X value is going to be 0 because you don't need to travel anywhere. To get to A, we just need to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So your ordered pair for A is 0, 7. Now let's look at B. To get to B, again, we're going to start at the origin. So we're always going to look at our X value first. To get to B, are we going to travel left or right? You should see that we're going to travel left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now remember, if we're traveling left, those are the negative numbers. So we're going to have a negative 7. Now for our Y value, you should have seen that we're already at our dot. So do I need to travel up or down in any direction? No, we're not traveling anywhere up or down. So that value is 0. Okay, so let's erase that to give us room. So now we're going to go do C. So C, remember, we start at our origin. So to get to C, what are we going to do? Well, we are going to travel what direction, right or left? We are going to travel to the right. How many units? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 units. We're almost there. So in order to get to C, we had to travel 8 units. How many units am I going to travel up? 1, 2, 3. 3 units up. So we traveled right, which is a positive number, 8 units, and we traveled up, which is also positive, so positive 3. So that ordered pair is at 8, 3. Okay, so for this last part, remember, we start at the origin. So to get to D, we need to travel right, 1, 2, 3, and then to get to the bottom, so we traveled 3, and then to get down to D, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, negative 8. And I know that's negative because we traveled down. So the ordered pair of D would be at positive 3 because we traveled right, and then negative 8. So that is your do now for today. I am so sorry it took me a good minute to talk about everything, but I really hope you got some insights and you refreshed your brains on a lot of these topics that were from 8th grade. Bye.